What's up, everyone? How are you doing? Welcome. It is weekend. The markets are closed. Generally a sideways structure, no? But we will see if we get a sideways move. No? Cool. Welcome. Good to have you here. It's time for some Elliott wave analysis. It's going to be more of a relaxing live stream. I'll be online for 45 minutes. Then I have to go. I will be with friends the remainder of the day. So that's why instead of a video this morning, I decided to do a live stream at the end of the morning, Central European time. So that a live stream and video is kind of like mixed. And the remainder of the day, I'll be at a friend's place. So I won't be able to make any content. I'll keep an eye on the chart, and if anything interesting happens, I'll post it in silver. But I won't have the opportunity to make content for the rest of the day. So that's why I decided to go live. So how are you doing, Andy? Hike, maybe a band-aid. Rostam, welcome. Bina. Newsly Leva, chilling with coffee in the evening. Oh wait, US. No. Wait, it's already 11. Evening? You must be like Rostam. Wait, where do you live? Yeah, Florida is 5:14. So if Rostam talks about evening, even Asia, that must be Asia somewhere. China, okay, Malaysia. Yeah, it's the start of the evening. I get it. Oh, I was so confused. 12:14. It's 11:16 here, so you're 1 hour in front in Vilnius. I have no idea where this is. So before we start the analysis, I'm gonna go and use Google Maps. Vilnius, where are you at? Litouwen. I see. Okay, Netherlands, Litouwen. Okay. Nice. 1 hour in front. Good to have you here, Leva. Welcome. Christian, MCLZ. I can't read that. Verstappen 1.3 second because Perez was behind Gasly in his final Q3 lap, and Gasly went wide in turn 3. And they were messing up with they all left at the very end, so they were too late. So yeah, he was stuck. Perez bear market continues, yeah. But even though like he is 1.3 seconds away from Max, which of course is bigger than, it's more than what it should have been. He hasn't been really on top of it this weekend, right? We can't really deny he's been quite far behind in the practice sessions and the quali, the other Q1, Q2. That being said, though. Of course, we're going to cover Elliott waves and have a look here locally as well. Now you can see I have 2 horizontals on my chart, a daily and the daily naked point of control. These are currently the 2 levels that are closest to price, and the volume of the range that we have been in is of course always interesting, which is what you see here. So the point of control of the range is a little bit lower compared to where the daily is here. So this is 614, which is always an interesting level. The point of control, it's the area where most of the volume has been traded in this upper section of the range, right? Like this area over here. So interesting indeed. More locally, just to kick this one off, price has been moving to the upside. Now, as mentioned yesterday in the probabilities, we were looking for a bounce, right? So we were looking for price to move towards the upside, because in both of these scenarios that we keep an eye on, and I will go in more detail in a second, but in both scenarios that we keep an eye on, either bullish 1 2 3 ABC versus the bearish triangle 1 2 3, we're looking for price to get that bounce towards the upside, right? So it's very nice that price moved towards the upside, hitting that resistance, or sorry, support area that we were looking for. 2 areas of support mentioned in the video yesterday, area 1, area 2. Area 2 acted nicely as support, and price has been moving to the upside ever since. Now, more locally, on a 15-minute time frame, price has not retraced to the 382 yet. So we had a bit of a range. We had a bit of a range here, right? Moving sideways, perfectly fine. But as you can see, price did not touch the 382, and at the moment price is again a bit of a range, bit of a move down, but we didn't yet reach the 382. Now, from a probabilities perspective, in Elliott waves, the 382 generally is regarded as a minimum target. If you look for an ABC zigzag, a WXY corrective structure, a 1, 2, 3 impulsive move, the 382 for an XAB, a wave 2 is a minimum target, right? It's very rare for structures to not retrace to the 382. So probability wise, it makes sense to still move into the 382 area. Of course, if price moves to the upside, the fibs will move to the upside as well. So the 382 may go higher, 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 but the probabilities are higher to eventually drop into the fibs. And once we get a bit more information of this structure to the upside, we can actually analyze it. But yeah, the probabilities would be higher to eventually drop in those fibs. Let's see what the weekend range is giving us. Of course, most commonly, the weekend is giving us a ranging sideways structure, and we can analyze that structure. So in the bullish scenario, we want an impulse to the upside. In the bearish scenario, we want corrective structures to the upside. So it's pretty neutral. I will cover this in more detail and actually put the scenarios on my chart in a second, but I just wanted to have this said right at the beginning of the live stream. Tavanrat, welcome. Good to have you here. Wow. Yo, Mark, what happened with your name? Dutch V-Slim Maxi. It's almost like, it's like you got sponsored. It's like Toro Rosso in Formula 1 now becoming V-Carb. You know what I mean? Dutch V-Slim Maxi. It's like you now got sponsored by a brand and you put it in your name, you know, Dutch V-Slim Maxi. What's happening? I sell from 6,800. What do you think? If you have a plan, stick to your plan and trade the plan, no? Jasmy, tomorrow is the altcoin stream. So we can have a look at Jasmy, depending on the votes, of course. Any scalps? I'm not really a scalper. I'm more of a day trader. But I do use lower time frames to decide if I enter. Signalized trading, welcome. Good to have you here. Yo, I got to get used to that Dutch V-Slim Maxi, eh? Like, what's that? NZ Kiwi, how you doing? Welcome. Good to have you here as well. Okay. Yes, so let me put the weekly. I wanna talk about something new on the weekly, actually. It's just a small detail. It doesn't change the probabilities on a weekly time frame, which remain higher to continue the trend. From an Elliott wave point of view, we're still looking for price to continue towards the upside sooner or later. It's just a sub-degree count. There's the potential for a small little difference. Bit better time. Yeah, this is earlier. Also for you, of course. It's evening now. Any update on the CVD? We'll check it. 72K incoming this week. This week is going to be a problem. Of course, you talk about next week. So, I mean, it's not going to happen today or tomorrow, I can't imagine. But yeah, next week, I mean, if we see some signs of strength locally and preferably impulsive structures to the upside, yeah, there is that potential, right? We're looking for a bullish scenario locally as well. We have it on the chart. So, yeah, absolutely. No, you don't have to, as long as it starts with Dutch. I know you are, and the profile picture. That's better. I want to trade now with $100 to make $10 more. I'm not a financial advisor, so you need your own plan, your own strategy, and I'm happy to help you to create that plan with 6 steps that I always talk about in the live stream, right? And actually, let me cover that before going live. So we help out Signalize Trading to make his $10 which means you first need to have your own plan before you probably earn 10 bucks. But in a nutshell, guys, being a profitable trader is a long journey, which probably most of you have experienced or hopefully will experience. But there's usually 6 key steps in that journey. And signalized trading, here you go. Step 1, try as many free tools as you can. Right? TradingView is free. Many of these tools are free. Many indicators are free. Try as many free tools as you can. Build experience. Step 2, build data on some of your favorite tools, right? Based on your experience, you'll find your favorites, build statistics. Step 3, combine some of your favorite tools that you build statistics on, and now build statistics on the combination. Yes, this is going to take time, and yes, most people unfortunately give up with step 2, but this is already step 3. So now you combine, build more statistics. Step 4 is tweaking and adjusting and build more statistics to see if you can improve the win rate, risk-reward ratio, other stuff you find important. Step 5 is start trading it with a low amount of money, right? Start trading your strategy, low amount of money, work on your mindset, your trading psychology, right? It's the first book link in the description. Trading, the mental game of trading. And then step 6 is increase your portfolio size. Now, making a 10 bucks with a $100 account means it is a 10% increase. You got to think in percentages and not in dollars. And a 10% increase is quite a lot, right? Many people are very happy if they can finish 10% at the end of the month. Not necessarily 10% in a day. It depends on the risk appetite that you have. Of course, you can make 10% in a day if you have high risk, high leverage. But it also means that if you do lose a trade, you're going to lose your 10 bucks. So you're going to lose 10%, right? So consistency over like a long period of time is a lot more important, meaning consistency, long period of time, low percentages is a lot better than having high risk, high reward, but have your portfolio go like this, you know, like, and not seeing a stable improvement. Yeah. Okay. So I have something to add on the weekly, which has to do with this scenario here, but let's run through the scenarios and then continue chatting Q&A, right? So weekly time frame remains the easiest time frame. Probabilities are higher for the bullish scenarios. Probabilities are a lot higher to still look for upside and price to take out the high that we made at 73.8K. One bullish scenario is this one here, 1, 2, and then eventually 3, 4, 5, a bigger impulse to the upside. Now this is arguably your more bullish scenario, as in this case you have 2 more pushes to the upside, right? So it's 2 more impulses, 2 more moves on a high amount of volume. 1 structure to finish your 3, retracement in 4, impulse in 5. It means that this future range, because there's always going to be a range after another impulse, we want this range to be a corrective structure, not an impulsive structure. If we're looking for an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to be looking for a price to look lower prices. No? So we look for a corrective structure and then a move up in a wave 5. Now, alternatively, by the way, the invalidation of this scenario, 49.3K. Alternatively, we are working on a higher degree wave 4. So the difference here is this is your lower degree green wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside the yellow 3. Here, your yellow 3 is already finished and you're working on a higher degree wave 4. Now we have started talking about this scenario. Many people probably don't know as the channel is growing very quickly. But I first spoke about this scenario at the beginning of this range here. And it's always been an alternative scenario and still is. But the longer we range here, the more attractive it becomes. Now, in this case, we're then looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means 1 more push to the upside. Now, of course, a wave 5, right, can be still quite lengthy, but your extended wave is your wave 3, and preferably you have 1 extended wave in an impulsive structure, or wave 3 is at least the longest. You don't generally have wave 5 being the longest wave. Now, inside this wave 3, we're either counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 is also, of course, an option. Now, in this range here, if you remember, counting this whole structure as a wave 2 means a running flat, A, B, 5 wave C, continuation up. Only on Bybit did we actually take this low, maybe another random chart, but on Bybit we actually did take this low, but on many charts we didn't. Which means on many charts you have actually a running flat, A, B, C, right? But of course on the charts where this low is not taken, there is arguably an argument for, hey, you know, this wave 2 could end here. Preferably, I just prefer this wave 2 here because, again, Bybit did wick below this low, and that's of course an invalidation for a 1, 2, and then 3 to the upside. So I prefer sticking with what we have here, and then a 3, 4, 5, right? So we look for one more push up. Now in both cases you're looking for price to move to the upside, and the probabilities on such a high time frame are also supported by what we have on the daily time frame. So on the daily we touch the 886. I've been talking about this many times, so sorry for the repetition, but it remains very, very important, of course, for the people that hang around here. It's just, even though price locally is moving down sharply and ranging and all that stuff, zooming out can give so much more patience or peace to your mindset. Instead of being involved with local moves down and local moves up on a higher time frame, it just creates a sense of clarity, I suppose, right? So the 886 is touched, taken from the high to the low, which is a very rare target for a wave 2, common for B or X, increasing the probabilities the move down is a wave C or a wave Y, increasing the probabilities that you are looking for price to continue towards the upside after the range is finished to take out the all-time high that we have at the moment. So also on a daily time frame, the probabilities are higher for price to move up and take out the all-time high. Now we can be very complex here and talk about many different scenarios. We have a potential ABC, we have the potential WXY, you have the potential 1, 2, 3, you have the triangle ABCDE. Like we can analyze this range in a lot of detail, but the fact is we're at the lower end of this range at the moment, and the probabilities remain higher for the higher time frames to continue towards the upside. As well as on the daily, as any move down has a higher probability of being corrective after an 886 touch, right? Either wave C or Y, just a side note for the Elliott wave analysts, of course, a high that touches the 886 can also, of course, be a wave 1 and then a wave 2, right? But sooner or later, you still expect price to take out the high. It's not like, oh, the 886 is hit, it must be a wave B or X. It's just that the probabilities are higher, you move up. And if you do move down and you take out the low, probabilities are higher, you're looking at a C or a Y, and take out the high later anyway. So I don't actually want to go into a lot of detail and all the daily scenarios, because pretty much that's all you want to know anyway. So let's go to the lower time frame, and if there are questions about the lower or the daily time frame, I'm happy to answer them. I've been covering daily scenarios many times. But what is more interesting at the moment is actually the local range, because if this is your low, right, and we look for impulsive continuation to the upside, we want to count one of 3 structures in this move to the upside, which either is an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? No overlap between 1 and 4, lots of overlap here. So that doesn't work. Then we have a double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, big move up, right? Or a triple 1, 2, multi 1, 2. Now that's not the case because we have this massive range, which means that you only have one structure remaining, which is a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5, a contracting diagonal. Now, as already explained in, well, pretty much on Tuesday as well as on Wednesday, there is a small little thing going on with this diagonal, which is not ideal, and that is wave 4. So for the ones that remember, if we look at a diagonal structure, this one here, we want to count this as a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we have our, sorry, wave 5. There we go, right? Yo, maybe a band-aid, man. Cheers. Yo, maybe a band-aid. He made some profit last week, I'm pretty sure. Cheers, maybe a band-aid, man. Thanks for supporting the channel with the gift. Maybe a band-aid, Mr. Mod. Amir was gifted a membership. Guys, no, wait, Mark, wait. We have a new system coming. Wait, 1 second. 1 second. Look what we did. The Koens member form. Yeah, we're trying to innovate, make things a little bit more easy. So what I'll do is put this in the chat. 1 second here. 1 second. we are innovating because it reduces the amount of emails. Papa, there we go. We get I mean in Google Forms, not sure how, like, it's better than what we used to do, yes. And this is thanks to Jeroen, so props to Jeroen. He's the one that came with the idea of making a form so that when people fill in the form, all the details appear in a nice Excel sheet, like Google Sheets, right? It makes it a lot easier to keep track of stuff and find the usernames and things. So yeah, it's a very good idea from Jeroen. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, I know, Mark. I forgot about it. We have a team chat in Discord. I just forgot to share it with the mods. But yo, mods, I'll let you or Mark and maybe a band-aid. He only made it yesterday, so I quickly put things up and running. But anyway, we were talking about the diagonal. I'll be chatting with my mods later. So the diagonal here towards the upside, right? Now, in a contracting diagonal, a couple of rules that are good to know. Wave 3, right, is most commonly shorter than wave 1. Not a requirement, not a must, but it is by far most commonly shorter than wave 1. So that is the case. Wave 5 has to be shorter than wave 3, which is also the case. Wave 4 has to be shorter than wave 2. Now on some charts, wave 2 is shorter than wave 4. Wave 4 is indeed shorter than wave 2. However, on some other charts, wave 4 actually touched the 1-to-1. Now, as you can see on my chart, it didn't. But if we go to 1 second here, we go to the index chart. I believe it was index from the high to the low to the high. Ah, damn it. On which chart did it hit? Or was it on my chart? Have I pulled it incorrectly? Start of 2, end of 2, high of your wave 3. It didn't hit. Lol. I'm pretty sure on some charts it hit. Am I completely confused now? This is Bitstamp. I prefer going to another one here. Was it Bybit? We didn't find it. Oh, didn't he? Bybit. There you go. It's always Bybit. Bybit's starting to become a bit wiki, no? Yeah. Anyway, okay, there we go. Found it. So now I personally, of course, use Coinbase or the index chart, preferably. Those are my two charts. I'm considering moving all my analysis to the index chart, by the way. But okay, by all means, wave 4 should not be longer than wave 2. And on Bybit, we finally found it. Wave 4 is longer, so that is a bit meh. But as on other charts, Coinbase, index, wave 4 is shorter than 2. There is definitely the potential for a diagonal, but it is at least good to know. Right? So we have a diagonal in a wave 1 we then look for a wave 2 or a wave B, and then we want to see a wave 3 or a wave C to the upside, right? Now to the upside, we do have some very interesting resistance, which is this blue box, 64.1, 65.1. It houses the weekly naked point of control, 65.1K, very important resistance above us, and also a daily at the lower end of the box, 64.2K. So those are the levels of interest in that area. Important resistance in case price can find impulsivity locally, right? Now the most common target area for 2 is the golden pocket to the 786, taken from the low to the high. Wave B can retrace to the 886, but the moment you hit the 886 here, 58.8K, the probabilities will increase to take that low. Just like on the daily time frame, right? Moment the 886 is hit, any move to the upside has a much higher probability of being corrective. So therefore, sooner or later, you expect the low to be taken. Right? Now, preferably, if we do talk about an impulse in a wave 1, 2, 3, wave 2 is finishing before the 4 fib time taken from the start to the end of your wave 1, sitting on Monday morning, 4 a.m. Central European time. The moment you hit the 4, probabilities start to reduce for a wave 2. The 5 is even more important, but I put the 4 on the chart for now. So preferably, in other words, we put in a low for 2/B before the 4 fib time. So in other words, preferably during the weekend, we actually create a range with a low and move up. Now, of course, that could be this structure, but if we are looking for a wave C or a wave 3, we want to count an impulsive move to the upside locally, right? This makes yeah, okay. Inside the wave 2/B, in a bullish scenario, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, we want to count a 3-wave corrective structure and look for continuation. Now, it's a bit messy, but hold your horses. Look at the yellow count, A, B, C. Target area for C is what you see on the chart here, the yellow box. Most common target area for your C is 60.4K to 59.2K. Now here we then have a 535 ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3-wave correction, multi 1, 2, and eventually a move down. Now we almost hit the blue 618 in validation for wave 4. So just to clean up the chart as well, I am gonna remove that blue wave 4 and just keep the green on. We did also, and this is something I realized, we did hit pretty much the final area of support, which is the gap. We do have, of course, a bit lower. It's possible to move lower to the 786. We don't have too much great support down there. But this one, 3, 4, wick the lows again early next week, 5, and then move up, is still on the cards. You don't want to see price hit the 618 though, 61.2K, 3K. If you do, then preferably we are going to remove this and call this the end of your C. Now a wave C can end on a high amount of volume, which is clearly the case with this move to the downside. Look at the volume here as well. Right, high amount of volume in the most recent move to the downside. In an impulse, preferably you see a wave 3, 4, 5, and then 5 on lower volume. But with a wave Cs can end on a high amount of volume as well. So I am keeping an eye on this 618, right? Hitting this 618. Therefore, then, if we're looking for the bullish scenario in a 3-wave ABC, we want to move this wave C to the left. We're not there just yet, but it is an important level on the chart. What happened here? There we go. Your bearish scenario. Because as bullish as we like to be, sometimes we got to be bearish as well. I actually said on a weekly time frame and daily time frame, probabilities are higher to continue the trend. The question is the low here, is this the low, right? And we move up. So by all means, we have a bullish, but you always need a bearish scenario as an Elliott wave analyst. So in this case, we then have our wave A, B, C, D, E triangle, and then an impulse down. Look for continuation next week. Take out the low. Now in this case, we have a triangle. A triangle, 4 out of the 5 waves need to consist of a zigzag structure, a 5-3-5, meaning your wave A has to be a zigzag in a 5-3-5 wave structure. Yeah. So that means that you have your wave A, B, and then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has to be your wave C. Now let's have a quick look here. I'm actually curious. So there you go. That's of course also a diagonal then, because of all the overlap that we have. So you have a ABC then in your wave A, and then you also want to see zigzag family structures in B, C, D, and E. Most commonly, if one of the waves is not a simple zigzag, wave C or wave D are complex structures, so WXY double zigzags or triple zigzags. Your wave B has to be, or by far most commonly, because I can't say has, but as written in the book of Elliott Wave Principle, by far most common is wave C or D, being a more complex corrective structure in a triangle, not wave B. It's not mentioned. It's a possibility, very low probability, and in the end we trade probabilities. But if this wave B is a 5-3-5 zigzag, we need a wave A, a wave B, and then of course your wave C has to end down here, right? Because C has to be a zigzag family structure. You can't have a flat. And that means that this structure has to be an impulse. It's a bit tricky, no? Lots of overlap here to the downside, a very big range, which is a bit out of context with the small range we have here, because the only way to count this is then 1, 2, 3, sideways, 4, 5. So it's not ideal. I'm generally not too big of a fan of triangles, not gonna lie. But yeah, it is a scenario we keep in mind. Now, in both of these scenarios, both in the bearish scenario, triangle or no triangle, by all means, we're looking for an impulsive structure to the downside anyway. So I could even just do this, remove the triangle, because it really doesn't matter, because we're looking for an impulse to the downside. In a bearish scenario, we were looking for price to bounce towards the upside, as mentioned yesterday. And also in the bullish scenario, we are looking for price to bounce towards the upside. So we got that move towards the upside. We hit these support levels that I mentioned yesterday. The first area of support moved down on a high amount of volume. Not very interesting. We hit the second leg of support, started ranging against the resistance here, and eventually pushed through because support flipped into resistance, and now we're above again, which is nice. So the expectations were set, looking for a bounce, move towards the upside. We got the move towards the upside now locally. And now the difference between a bullish and bearish scenario is all about what's being created here. If we see impulsive structures to the upside, we're going to be looking for price to take out the high. If this is going to be three wavy and corrective, we look for price to take the low. Now this is the beauty. Depends on the information that we still get, no? On the 15-minute time frame, however, price so far has been moving to the upside without retracing into the fibs here. So we had a bit of a range, perfectly fine, but we didn't retrace into the fibs. If I pull the fibs to the current high that we have, we of course still didn't hit the 382. Now eventually we are looking for a move to the downside to get into the fibs. Reason is, if we look for an ABC, WXY, 1, 2, 3, a minimum target is the 382 Fibonacci. Very rare not to hit it. If price moves to the upside, the fibs move to the upside as well. Your most common target is always the 05786, but eventually you want price to move into that fib area, which it hasn't yet done So sooner or later, still expecting that retracement into the fibs. From a CVD perspective, we had some bullish CVDs. So first of all, we had a bit of bullish CVDs while grinding against the resistance, as just explained. Look at blue moving down here, as you can see. Right, green candle moving down in candle bullish CVDs. This is a 15-minute time frame. More locally here as well, higher low in price, lower low on the CVD. Price moving to the upside very nicely indeed. At the moment, CVD is neutral. Price move down, CVD move down here locally. Not too much happening. Arguably, you actually have a bullish CVD order block here. Red candle, higher low in price, lower low on the CVD. So we have a bit of a bullish CVD on the chart. Preferably though, I like to look at CVD divergences on the right side of the most recent high or low. So what I prefer to see for the bulls is price locally moving up and create local bullish CVD divergences on a 3-minute, on a 5-minute, or on a 15-minute time frame. Because as mentioned, we haven't yet moved into the fibs, and eventually we're looking for price to retrace into those areas. Now the closest support resistance areas we have to the downside, the daily naked point of control, 60.2K, resistance 61.6K. However, if we pull a volume profile, that point of control is a little different time frame. It's just below, so I just had a lower point of control earlier, maybe here. Yeah, there you go. 61.4K. That's the first point of control. Arguably your first area of bigger resistance. So what I should actually do here is it's a high volume area. You can see based on the volume point of control, we have a daily there as well. So I can make it a target box, bit of confluence there. We have the daily range point of control. Put that in the folder and then remove this again. Voila. So probabilities on the by the way, Pistachio, how you doing, man? Welcome. Look at the beautiful blue badge of Pistachio. Man, what an amazing support. Probabilities 1 year, 1 year, everyone. Weekly time frame bullish, daily time frame, we touched that 886, so sooner or later we're also looking for price to move towards the upside. Locally, in both cases, both the bullish and the bearish scenario, we were looking for a price to move towards the upside. Mentioned in the content yesterday, we found support, had some bullish CVDs here against resistance. Price has been moving to the upside. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Now we just observe, right? If in a trade, it's all just trade management, depends on the structures to the upside. For the bulls, we want to count impulsive structures. For the bears, corrective structures. Meaning for the bulls, we want to count either an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, arguably. There's potential for this. We could still have some sort of a diagonal as well forming, moving towards the resistance, hit resistance, reject, and then continuation next week, right? That's interesting. But an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A diagonal, as just explained, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Preferably overlap between the wave 1 and the wave 4. So actually got to draw it a bit nicer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Overlap between 1 and 4 is most common. It's not a must. It's not a requirement, but it is most common by far. Or a double 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then lift off. The problem is that it is weekend. So generally in the weekend, you don't have like a wave 3 starting. You can have a couple of 1, 2s, but generally you don't start a wave 3. So we still have to look for the wave 1s in that case. 1, 2, 1, 2. Of course, the wave 1s have to be impulses. The wave 2s have to be corrective structures. So in other words, if we're bullish, we want to count impulsive moves up and corrective structures to the downside. But as you can see, we have very limited information. At the moment, price has just been making higher highs, higher lows. We're eventually looking for price to move into the fibs. We know the resistance above us. We know the support area below us. And we just observe. This is going to be the weekend. We got what we wanted out of price. We got the move to the upside. Now we observe, right? Wait for new information. So yeah. Jeez. Um, let me say this on the daily. By the way, I do think this is important to end the analysis as well. On the daily time frame, the probabilities are higher for bearish scenarios unless you can start to flip some levels, right? I want to see local proof of strength, or at least signs of strength. At the moment, so far, price has just been moving down, losing level after level after level after level. And now we're at the lower end of the range, and of course we do have bearish scenarios, including a WXY, common target for Y on the chart, right? That is where we are now. And the zigzag in an ABC, common target is a little bit lower, starting at 54.4. Now at the moment, looking at the volume profile, deviation, retest, point of control, support, retest, value area low, lost, little retest, right? So if we want to really start to be bullish on a daily time frame, and this is your low, we want price to preferably flip some levels. Of course, on the 50-minute time frame, we are continuing to observe what happens here, because if we can enter interesting long positions lower, of course the risk to reward is better. But on a daily time frame, which is where we are now, preferably you're going to start flipping some of these levels again to increase the probabilities for the bulls, because so far you've only been losing levels all the time. So the probabilities on a daily time frame, you hit the 886, right? So this is where probabilities are. You hit the 886. So the probabilities are higher that any move down is part of a corrective structure, increasing probabilities to sooner or later take the high. Weekly time frame probabilities are higher to continue towards the upside, right? So we are looking for price to move up sooner or later. But locally on a daily time frame, price has just been losing level, and the probabilities remain higher to continue that trend unless you can start reclaiming a couple of levels. Yes, we are in the target area for a WXY, right? And then we want a zigzag down, arguably finished, or one more low, then finish and move towards the upside. Or the most bearish scenario is your ABC, find support in the lower 50s and then move up there. Now, probabilities change. First of all, moving above the value area low, 62.5, and retest this positively, right? That's level 1. Small increase in probabilities. 2 is moving above 64.5. Most important is 66.4. Yeah. We just keep an eye on what's happening locally and take it level by level. Okay. NZQE, the reason is because of pretty much my experience. So when I started using CVD, I back in the day traded on Bybit. Of course, for a long time already, it's BingX, but I got in touch with Bybit first. So that is why I use the Bybit CVD. I got accustomed to it, so that's why I still use it, even though I don't trade on Bybit anymore. Also, I can't even trade Bybit in the Netherlands. Lol. So, but every CVD line is a little bit different. So if you get used to one line and you can read it very well, you won't really change anymore. And then I added the aggregated one soon after because it involves more platforms. But both CVDs are as important. Yeah. What's up, Queenie Course? Welcome. How you doing? Can the move from 58,300 to 62,500 be a WXY? Why is it diagonal? Well, wave Y can't be a diagonal. So in a WXY, you're talking about this structure up, right? So if you look at a WXY, you're talking now about a double zigzag. So you have a zigzag in W, then you have an X, and then a wave Y. But wave Y can't be a diagonal itself, because a diagonal is a 5-wave structure, but wave Y is a 3-wave structure. So inside wave Y, you then need a 5-wave A, 3-wave B, and then a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 C. And based on what we see here, that's not something I personally look at. You know, probabilities are higher to either count it impulsive or a 3-wave structure for the sake of a potential triangle. You could even still have a double zigzag in here, WXY, right? So that's a possibility. ABC, X wave, and then another ABC, finish Y, and then move down. That's still on the cards, but doesn't change the fact that you're still then looking to take the high, and then we just have to observe what happens after, step by step. Yeah. Hoshi, welcome. Good question, Hike. Queenie, good to have you here. I'll stream tomorrow. Is it possible that a triangle? Yeah, yes. A triangle is always a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Only if wave E becomes a triangle itself is wave E becoming a 5-waver, because it's A, B, C, D, E inside E. But that's very rare. What's up, Hunter? How are you doing? Yeah, pistachio, that would be a zigzag ABC in that case. So then you have A, B, and then you just count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then your wave 4 becomes a 2. So I would then count it as a zigzag. I also don't like hard rules to be hit, but it's the same as the 72K tops, right? On some charts you took the first time you hit 72K, and on other charts you didn't. Like it's like it's not often that you have so many different differences between charts. So I think the index chart is always a good one to keep an eye on. And on index in this wave 4, we didn't hit the 1-to-1. We did on Bybit though. Maybe. Total market caps would be something for the Sunday as well. So altcoin stream is tomorrow, everyone. Tomorrow is going to be the altcoin stream. Marwan, welcome. I don't know what 5D is though. 5-day. We covered the weekly time frame. I see some solid chatting here, talking about rate cuts. Exactly, DJ. And then like just like in 2021 when price moved up out of the 30K range towards 65, and people were talking about 500K Bitcoin by the end of the year. Yeah, you always have that. They're part of the. They make it fun. Yeah, they're part of the industry. Venom Soul, good to have you here. Could you do a quick explanation on different membership? I get a lot of questions. Yeah. So, oh, you mean with the form? So first of all, Solana is tomorrow. Tomorrow is altcoin stream. So with regards to so there's 4 levels, right? Bronze, silver, gold, diamond. Depending on what you're looking for, because in the end I'm here to help. Bronze is just support. It doesn't really get anything, but it's $3. Silver 10, gold 25, diamond 100. And then in a nutshell, silver is updates in between content, in between videos. Whenever I see something, some days I will write a lot, some days I barely write in silver because it depends on what's happening on the chart. So I talk about CVD if I think of a new scenario or new things, and silver, they're the first one to know. And every morning, or actually before every video or piece of content, I write a summary on all the scenarios, including probability. So it's all in text. with including all the pictures and stuff. So that is what I do in silver. You know, so I always do this every morning. So I write updates with all the scenarios, and I write the probabilities. And if there's stuff happening during the day, I write it in there as well. Gold is all about shortening the learning curve. So if you wish to learn Elliott waves, there's of course multiple ways, right? You can just use online services, online websites, which I recommend. I put a link in the description. It's a website that I very much recommend to use to learn Elliott waves, which is absolutely free. But for people that want to have more feedback, more like almost like personal, not coaching, but it's receiving more feedback. It's just more personalized. We have private live streams in Gold as well to answer questions. I answer questions. I reanalyze people's charts. I give feedback on their charts. It just shortens the learning curve of learning Elliott waves, and it therefore, of course, you know, makes you better quicker. So that is what happens in Gold, which is very much focused on continuous feedback and development. And that is also the most, or not the most, but it is a very active section in Discord, because we have a Gold Elliott Waves group, and here there's a lot happening, and it's great analysis. Flotty always with the papes, but yeah, very very active. Lots of feedback, great counters in there, and private live streams. To answer more questions and chill. And then Diamond is all about creating a plan and a strategy. So in Diamond, I help people to develop a planned strat. People have insights into how I trade, why I enter positions, why I exit positions. They will see my other strategy that I use as well. They can see the plan, the one-pager with all of my rules. And hopefully it helps people to therefore develop their own strat. Plus, the 6 steps I always talk about are more detailed, and all the files are in there as well, so that, you know, to help people create their own plan and their own strategy, which in the end is going to make you most profitable. So Diamond is all about creating that planned strategy to become profitable, track the statistics, and have fun when making money eventually. So Diamond is all about making that plan and strategy, and see how I trade and my plan / strats. So there you go. You might want to timestamp this and then send it to people. Yeah. The ones asking. Cheers, Mark Dutch. No, I can't get used to this name again. Alive for the coffee. What's up, Blaster? How you doing? Welcome. Enjoy your coffee. Howdy from Texas, Attila. Howdy. Is this also like in Texas? Like people do like, yo, what's up? You know, we have that. DJ, yeah, it would be something for tomorrow. I actually got to go because it's 12 now. You know, Formula 1 is starting, and then I have to go to a friend of mine. Does a double 1-2 always have to be in a contracting diagonal? No, but it is common for multiple 1-2s to have overlap. But if we go to the 4-hour time frame, I can show you. So here, even though it doesn't look like a diagonal, you do have overlap. So here we have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 up, right? This is your highest volume move. That's your 3, and then you get into a lot of 4-5s. And so you can see like overlap, overlap, right? Overlap, overlap. So it's not a diagonal structure, but you do have multiple 1-2s. And of course, what is important in the 1-2s is you want to see bullish CVD. So we had bullish CVD here, and then bullish CVD, CVD, CVD. So that is, you want to see that continue. Yeah, but a diagonal is not a requirement. It's just common to have overlap, and a diagonal is something that makes life easy if 1-2s form in a diagonal. 1-2s can also, by the way, form in more of a triangle structure. People then count it as a triangle, but there's actually a few 1-2s. Think about this range, right? Look like a triangle, but internally there's a couple of 1-2s in there. So there's no set pattern, but the multi 1-2 generally has overlap between the 1-2s and some sort of a diagonal structure. I don't use footprint charts, no. Faster than Dutch. Limburg, mooi gebied, komt mijn familie vandaan. Cheers, DJ. You're new. Oh, welcome to the channel. Yeah, so every Sunday we have altcoin streams, so make sure to vote, be there. We check alt charts or stock or whatever. It depends on the voting and the wheel of fortune. But that's gonna happen tomorrow. And generally we focus on Bitcoin. I do sometimes cover alts during Bitcoin streams, but that's if Bitcoin does absolutely nothing and I have more time, but I gotta go now. So, okay, I gotta move because I will have to go to Friends, watch a bit of Formula 1, then go to Friends. So this is the only piece of content today, right? Now, you know what we're looking for? I will put the timestamps in the live stream. So after I stop the live stream, I will first watch Formula 1 and then put the timestamps in the stream for you all to find. And then tomorrow morning is going to be the next update because the rest of the day I'll be gone. So I'll quickly watch some Formula 1 with my wife, chill, and then I gotta go to a friend, or will go to a friend of mine, be there for the whole day in the evening. So I'll see you tomorrow again. So tomorrow is also altcoin live stream. Should be interesting. See what kind of alts are going to be voted for tomorrow. And yeah, that being said, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to catch you at the next one.